1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. 1, Is this actually live? This isn't supposed to be live. I'm not ready. I haven't pressed the button yet. That's really... They've changed everything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I was in the other room sorting out an upload. This is very weird. People are already here, and I'm not here. Normally, this is very odd. Hello, by the way. I didn't know I was... Where's my coffee? Hang on a minute. I'm not even ready. I'm not ready. You can't do this to me. Well, it looks like we're actually broadcasting. Are we actually broadcasting? That's the thing. It's really bizarre because, hang on a minute. Yeah, it says I've been live for 6 minutes. So this is very freaky. Can you hear me all right? Yeah, I think you can. Blimey. Now, let me just explain. Normally, I set everything up and I set the stream off from my streaming software, OBS, and it goes to YouTube. And then you have a button that when you're ready, you go, okay, everything seems okay, go live. And I would be doing that about now, in actual fact, because it's now about 8 o'clock. So I just thought, oh, well, I'll make sure it's all working because I've been away. And so there, I was in the other room. I did a video with the lovely Glastonbury Gabriel the other day, Tuesday. I edited it up yesterday, took for bloody ever, and got it going. Then I found that the colours were far too vibrant, so I had to rejig it. When my phone stopped doing it. And then, so then I uploaded it again, and it was all fine. I was absolutely knackered. And I thought, I'll just do the thumbnail and stuff before I do today's show. I thought, oh, I'll do a show, surprise everybody, because I got back early. I'll explain all about that in a minute. And then there was a copyright claim on the music, which is a bit bizarre, because I download the music from bensound.com, and I can't even remember whether I paid for the tune or not off the top of my head. Anyway, it's free to use, as long as you credit them. And it said, no, there's a copyright claim. It's somebody's cover. It was a cover track. So I thought, well, that's not right. So I thought, rather than making a claim, which can take a few days and most of my hits would have been and gone, I thought, well, it hasn't gone live until tomorrow morning. I'll re-edit it a third time, get a different track, which is what I just laid down in the other room, still on my laptop, because the files are on my laptop, and then put this other track. So now that is uploading, and that's where I was. I was just going, oh, good, it's all working. I'll get that uploading. I'll come in here, prep up the show, do the show. It'll be a nice surprise. Everyone will be happy. I come in, and it's already running. What's going on? So also, when I set up the the studio software for... Oh, and we have a call. Hang on a minute. We have a call. I'm not ready for a call. I've got a lead that I need. Hang on a minute. Hello?
You're frozen.
What do you mean I'm frozen?
Nothing's happening. No movement, no sound, no nothing.
No, nothing. Well, I've got... hang on a minute. Because I've got it coming back to me. Hang on. No, nothing. Well, I've got... hang on a minute. Is that the case with everybody? No, you're not frozen, says Jonathan Beluzic.
Well, I'm in South Wales, and here you are.
Oh well, I'm sorry about that. Darren Howard says not frozen. You're coming across fine. Everything's fine. It must be just to you.
Possibly, yeah. Okay.
Who is this? I've got my phone on.
My name's David Gordon. You don't know me, but
well, thank you so much for ringing in. Sorry, I'm sounding a little bit.
That's okay.
I've actually just reminded me because I knew there would be one bit of kit that I stripped out. Oh, hang on, I found it now. Don't go away. Don't go away because I found the little cable that I need. Hang on, bear with me, caller. Bear with me. Because I hadn't had a chance to plug the phone because I wasn't expecting it to work quite so quickly. Now then, I've just got to remember how I do this. Have you got the screen in front of you?
Yes.
You'll see that I'm... there'll be a 20-second delay, but I am... Where the hell does that go? FX send? It could be FX send. Let's try that. And put you in there. Put my headphones on. Turn you up here. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. I plugged it in right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yeah.
Right. So, David, did you say it was?
That's right, yeah.
Hello, David. How are you? Sorry, you didn't get the normal, lovely welcome that you would properly get if I hadn't been thrown off balance by... Oh, you're on!
Assumed you had problems.
Yes. So, are you still frozen?
It's still frozen this end, yeah.
Oh, but you've got... that's very... I'm sorry about that because it's everybody else is telling me... in fact, Josephine's suitor says, no, you've defrosted. So that's a bonus. So do you live in South Wales?
Yes, yeah.
What part of South Wales? I don't know it terribly well, but I know Pembrokeshire and round there.
Beaufort, just outside Vale.
Oh, lovely. What a lovely part of the world.
Yes, around here there's nice places, yeah.
Nice places. Is that... I can't quite place Evervale. Is that down near the coast?
Heads of the valleys.
Oh, right, head for the valley. Yeah, you've got some beautiful hills.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, I must. Well, I'm only just back from Wiltshire, which I was...
Yes, I know.
A little bit disappointed because of all the monoculture out there. And as I drove back, I saw swathes and swathes of sweet barley. It was just this one colour, this golden colour, and no birds, no nothing. It was a bit of a shame.
It's rather sad, isn't it?
And then up on the downs, there was patches of this species-rich, beautiful flowers that we don't even have in Sussex.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. It got me very annoyed. Anyway, I had an emotional. I think the whole thing's been an emotional experience, to be honest with you. But lovely. Thank you so much for letting me know that I'm frozen and actually giving me an opportunity to get the phone switched on.
Anyway, you are still frozen, but I won't keep you any longer anyway.
What might be worth doing is just refreshing your browser and see if that clears it, because other people are telling me that I'm okay. In fact, in Monmouthshire, I've been told that I am actually still okay.
Just down the road.
Is it? Is it just down the road? There you go. You sort of just have to go and kick a piece of equipment.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Lovely to talk to you, David.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we are. David Gordon, that was, ladies and gentlemen. Took me a bit by surprise, but I have managed to get the phone sorted out, and you can call in. I think the lovely Julia is somewhat annoyed with me. She says, fine in Monmouth, even though I was expecting a night off for karaoke. And lovely Julia, you can have a night off. Of course you can. The lovely Judith is here. You were frozen, had to restart YouTube. Well, this is just a surprise. Please don't feel that, if you don't want to watch or you're busy with other things, you've made plans, please don't feel that you have to watch. I don't want anyone to feel slightly upset. We've got 64 people and 9 likes, and that's very kind. Thank you so much. I just got in earlier today. I'd been down to see my son on the way back. And my grandson. My son was 30 earlier, on the 31st it was, whenever that was. It seems so long ago. And I went in and I gave him some presents and saw him and saw his grandson. And it's funny, actually, because my grandson, not his grandson, it's funny because they're newish parents. He's 2 years old now and they're expecting another one. But bless him, they were a bit worried because poor little George hadn't had a poo for about 4 days, and they were slightly worried, got on the phone, rang the doctor. I come in, I say, what's the matter? And they said, oh, he's not having a poo for 4 days, and we're a bit worried and all that. And he was running around. I said, oh, he's fine, don't you worry about that. I ran around, we chucked some balls about, we had a bit of fun, and about 45 minutes later, he went off to the loo and did 2 great big lumps. Yeah. So thanks to the old Vobes, one-eyed Kenobi, we sorted out that problem, and the laxative, baby laxative, or whatever it is you give children, was no longer required. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vobes Show, impromptu Vobes Show. Let's see who we've got out there in the Vobosphere. Michael Angel, good evening. The Allotment Channel, good evening to you. Hello, Richard. I'm celebrating 35,000 subscribers. Have a French fancy with me. Well, that sounds absolutely brilliant. 35,000, there you go. And the other day you were all saddened about it, but look at that. You've got more than double the amount I have. Andy Dalgleish is there, says back in Worthing. Yes, back in Worthing. Thank you very much. Judith, hello to you. Thank you for popping in and doing the old monkey wrench business, making sure nobody's there. Because Julia has got the night off, or I hope she has. She's doing karaoke tonight in somewhere in Wales, in Monmouthshire, which is very nice. J.K. Duvis, hello from Holland. Hello to you in Holland. Well, I hope you're having a nice time. What part of Holland are you, by the way? I've been to Holland. I have been to Amsterdam, and I've been somewhere near there doing a corporate job, but very nice in Holland. Days of Yore, is he hiding? Oh, yes, sorry about that. Yes, that's at the beginning. Hello to Steve G, to Morton Lewis, to Kerry Baldwin, to Days of Yore. I've said Days of Yore. To Andrew Norris, what ho? Ed Loud, to Damo. He knows... Does he know he's live already? No, I don't know what they've done, the swines at YouTube. They keep changing things. They don't tell you, and keeping you on your toes. That's really what it's about. I see you made it back home. You're in the studio. Yes, I made it back home. Thank you very much. I sort of left a bit earlier because I wanted to see my son and my grandson, and we found a slot in the day which was going to work as I came past, because Stanley, as I said, had a birthday recently. Let's talk amongst ourselves then. Oh, yeah, sorry about that early morning, the early start. Ron Langley, hello to you. Josephine, hello to you. Jonathan Beluzic, thank you for telling us that we weren't frozen. That's very kind. Darren, hello. Howell, rather. And Michael Angel, I think I may have said. Elaine Whitlock, not frozen there. Good. Glastonbury Gabriel, there he is. Evening, it's fine here. Hello, Glastonbury Gabriel. I've seen a lot of your face recently on the edit screen. I've edited the same video 3 times. 3 times, which is unusual. Ramiboo says, I would still tell YouTube about where you got the music so they don't... Yes, because I'm likely to do it again, but I will delete that file and get this one up because I want it to go out tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's the thing there. Seeing and hearing you loud and clear. I'm very pleased to hear that. It still looks like it's going well. Jeff Kellison, karaoke. Man, that sounds like fun. Jeff, get yourself over to Monmouthshire this evening. We'd love to hear you sing. What sort of songs does a trucker sing, apart from the Monty Python? Did Monty Python do a trucking song, or was it not the 9 o'clock news? One of them did it. The Allotment Channel says, refresh, and so on and so forth. I'm going to come right down to the end. Ramiboo says, you guys are having some storms over there. Seems strange like that. Haven't had an issue. I'm on the other side of the globe, from Richard. And Mr. Vobes says, Damo, you really should visit Hever at some point. So much history to see across the village and the castle. I'm shocked you haven't taken it in yet. Not far from Worthing either. Did Mark English go to Hever Castle the other day? Or did he go to, I thought he went to Hever. Nigel Sadler, welcome back. Not the 9 o'clock news, there we go. I'm a trucker and I like trucking, I think it was, wasn't it? I'm a trucker and I like trucking. I like to truck. I think that was the general gist of it. Anyway, here we are. We are back in Worthing. Sorry about the sort of false start. Now, I haven't had a chance to download any videos at all. So it's just you and me and the phones tonight. Anything you want to talk about. If you want to talk about explosions in Beirut, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about COVID. Let's not talk about the landscape being chopped up by farms. You'll hear me moan about that enough times in the coming videos, and monoculture. So it's just me and you chatting away. In fact, this is my phone is also streaming, and I don't need that to stream at the moment. So give us a call. Let's have a chat. Ask me some questions. You can ask me as many questions as you like about whatever you like. on 07934746790. Okay, just going to go up to 9 o'clock this evening, just do an hour. Now I've got to debate whether I do one tomorrow, because I think people thought I might, but I guess the main audience is already here, 69 viewers. And so Friday's probably the next best thing, which would be great. How was the marmalade? It's funny how many people were interested in that marmalade. I did get an email from somebody saying, be a good guest, leave them the marmalade. And I thought, oh, I'm not sure about that. Leave them the marmalade, what I don't eat. And I thought, well, actually, the house is empty pretty much quite a lot of the time. So it would just be sitting there. No one would get to enjoy it for at least ages. So I just thought, I still would be a nice guest, and I tied it up and made sure the place was all smooth and what have you. And I took it with me. Sorry, I've got it's in my cupboard. Wiltshire or Sussex? Richard says. Michael Angel. I'm in Sussex now. I don't know. Maybe I was referencing somewhere else. Queens. Jeff Kellison's Queens Rich. What Queens Rich? What is that? Is that a place? Where is it? And what's the connection? Give us a call. Tell us about it. Brainwash Chris, I fear you blame the EU for monoculture. I do. The subsidies, you see. Don't get me started on this. The subsidies that they gave farmers, or that our government started to give farmers subsidies so they would be paid. It's like I was having a debate with my son, actually, about the universal payment. And he said, at some point when machines take over and do everything, universal payment, that's what they'll have to come out. They'll be paying us something because there'll be no jobs. And I said, well, if you did that, where's the incentive for people? What's the incentive to get out of bed? And he said, well, there's still going to be entrepreneurs who will still get out of bed and want to do things. And I said, yes, that's true. There may well be those people who want to get set up a business. But when you've got that business set up, you're going to actually want other people to help you do that. Like somebody's got to service your office. Somebody's got to go and clean your toilets in your office. Now, if everyone's got some universal payment that means they've got a base level, they don't have to do meaningless jobs like cleaning toilets, who's actually going to go and do that? Because those jobs, there won't be the incentive. They're not exactly the jobs that people aspire to. So people will only go and work for those jobs that will actually prove worthwhile. So I don't know that giving people money just to stay at home to have a base line of income is actually any good. But I'd be interested in your thoughts on that. 07934746790. Don't be frightened to ring up. It costs you an absolute fortune, I'm sure, but it's great fun. You get to talk to me, and we talk to the nation. Well, we talk to 74 people who are watching live, and anybody else who can be bothered to watch this after the event. And if you're one of those people who are watching after the event, thank you very much. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comments. That's what I say afterwards. The lovely Julia, tomorrow is Thursday. No show. Or are you going back to 5 a week? No. No show tomorrow. No show. We'll go back to the normal play. Why is that? Right. Okay. Let's see if this is working. Hello, caller. Calling in on the old Vobes.
Oh, hello. I was scared to call in because of the funny man.
You were scared to call in?
Yeah, the funny man.
Which funny man is that?
You plonker.
Oh. Well, I'm not. I didn't realise I was the funny man. How are you, Ed?
Oh, not bad. I'm still round and squidgy.
Oh, good. I'm very pleased about it. What about this universal payment scheme? What do you think about that?
Right, remind me, which payment scheme are we talking
well,
about?
This is. I was having a conversation with my son Stanley, and we got onto this idea that in the future there'll be a lot of people going out of work because mechanisation, machines, AI, and all of that will take over. All the jobs will be done. And so people will be basically destitute because there won't be any jobs. And he said, well, there is this talk about a universal payment that everybody gets, something, I don't know what it would be, something like £2,000 a month, which would be enough to pay the bills, keep your head above water, and what have you. And I said, well, if you have that, where's the motivation for people to go to work? Because he said, well, they can work if they want to. I said, but if you're being paid to stay at home, we've just proved it in furlough. A lot of people don't want to go back to work. So he said, yeah, but there'll always be those people who want to do things, something more than earning whatever, 24 grand a year, whatever it is, or whatever the baseline is. There'll be entrepreneurs who want to set up a business. And I said, yeah, but that's great. But who is going to be the ones that clean the toilets? Because that's a horrible job. And if you're already being paid to stay at home, who's going to do that? And so that's why I don't think it's a viable thing.
I think we've already got that system. There's universal credit or job seekers allowance, and that's already more than some people earn doing a hard day's work.
Well,
so,
yeah, I mean that's probably true.
Definitely. I know from experience. I've been a carer for a long time, and I got paid less as a carer than I now get on universal credit.
Here's a question for you. With this COVID thing, everybody was, we were clapping the NHS, and then people said, well, wait a minute, what about the people who work in care homes and carers generally, because they're in the front line, they've got old people who may be dying of COVID and they're risking their lives looking after us. Oh, yeah, we better clap for them as well. So we were clapping for them. And everyone said, oh, well, of course, the COVID situation just goes to show what jobs are actually the important ones. And maybe after COVID, they'll all get paid more. Well, what do you think? Do you think carers will?
No, I don't really think so, because there's a whole army of unprofessional carers, as they're known.
As they're known, unprofessional. I'm an unprofessional one.
Sort of people who care for a loved one, and in my mind, they're qualified through experience. They've been doing that for so long, and it's built up slowly that they become better than the professional nurses at looking after that one individual.
Yes, yes.
They know that person's problems and issues and quirks, and I don't think that you'll suddenly see a big increase in funding for people in that situation, and they're the people that don't get out. They're the people that don't get seen by the public very much. A lot of the time when you're caring for someone who's extremely ill, it's very hard to find time to get out and perhaps get the praise that you rightly deserve. I hope that one day, someday, if people like me keep screaming about it, it might change. But I think there's kind of this perception. You see someone in a uniform and think they do a great job, rightly so. But you see some oik on a bus who's perhaps with an elder relative, for example, and you just think, why is he shouting at that man? It's really rude. And you don't stop to think, well, maybe he's shouting because that's the way that person can hear the person who's shouting and things like that. So I don't think it will change too much, to be honest. So I haven't got high hopes.
No. I mean, this is the thing, and people can say a lot of things, can't they? And say, we really highly appreciate our nurses and our carers and what have you. But actually, what we're not really going to do is raise their wages and make them to where they ought to be for the jobs, for the frontline jobs that they're doing.
I don't think it's necessarily money that people crave and want. I think once you're earning a relatively professional wage, such as a nurse, that should be enough to live off anyway. Unfortunately, because of the housing prices and things like that, it's not enough to live off in certain parts of the country, and there's this huge disparity. I know nurses who work in the hospital where I live, and they're living in like one room, and that is their life. And
presumably, when they go into that, they're not going into that with their eyes closed, are they? They know that nurses earn a certain amount. They know that most nurses can't actually get up to the sort of £250,000 a year stint.
No, I think they must love the job and want to do the job.
Yes,
and,
yes.
My ex-partner tried to become a teacher. She qualified in her area and did all the right things, and she just found, because of where she was living, that her position become untenable on a teacher's wage.
Yes.
I mean, that's quite a large sum of money from my perspective.
What do they? What is an average? What is an average wage then for a teacher?
Search me. I mean, I know she was
40,000. 30, 40, 30?
I really wouldn't know. No. It's a sum of money that I can't even imagine when I was living on £67 a week, you know.
Yes.
But for the good grace of my grandfather, I would have ended up in God knows where. But, you know, I was living with my grandfather and looking after him. So he took care of the roof over my head and things of that nature in return for sort of looking after him. You know, he understood that I had to give up work to look after him. Because, of course, I did originally have a job like everyone else. But, yeah, there's I don't think there's been any change, certainly where I live. You know, everyone around here knows that I cared for my grandfather. His dementia become quite apparent and his other health problems. And yet, the same people that are outside clapping all the nurses and things like that are the same people that would cast their scorn upon me and perhaps sort of not appreciate sometimes I had to do something a bit tough to help my grandfather. You know, sort of a cruel to be kind thing, like make him get up out of the wheelchair and walk a few steps to stretch his legs and things like that.
Yes, and I mean,
they're the same people that would swear at me in the street and tell me what a bad job I'm doing. And people are very quick to criticise, but very slow to help.
Yes,
unless you wear a uniform.
I had the same issue with my dad. At the care home that he went in, they were trying to make his life really easy. And I said, don't make it too easy, because his muscles were just weak. And we'd got him up and walking. And some days he didn't want to do it, but we, you know, in a kind way, it wasn't a mean way, but we enabled him that he kept walking and was able to walk. When he went into the care home, he walked into the care home. He could walk about and do his own thing. Within a month, they were saying, "Oh, he can't walk. He can't." I said, "This is ridiculous," and they weren't. They were just. They had too many of them, too many patients, few staff, and we were paying nearly £1,000 a week to have him in the care home, and they could not give him the undivided attention and keep his muscles working. And if he refused to get up out the chair, which he would do at first, you know, once it's like taking kids out for the day. They don't want to go out, do they? They don't want to leave. No. You get them out up onto the downs, they love it. They don't want to go home. Yeah. And it was the same. It was the same. Once he was up, he was like, "Yeah, oh no, I really like this." But it was just that motivation. But in the care home, the minute you said, "Come on, would you like to get up out the chair, Trevor?" and they would go, he'd go, "No," and they go, "Oh, all right then." And
whereas someone who knows the individual, like me or my family, would, "Well, come on now, Grandad. We know you can get up. You're only in the wheelchair because you're going for an 8-mile walk. We know you can walk 100 yards."
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And I used to have neighbours sort of having a go at me, and
well, that's disgusting.
The most well-to-do, you know, kind-looking people, and they would sort of cast their judgment on me, and often sort of the well-to-do people who were going outside clapping the nurses and things like that, and I mean, at the time I used to get quite angry at them, you know, and now I just think, if you're not wearing a uniform, nobody knows. It's probably the same like if you're an ex-forces or if you're an ex-police officer or something.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Once you're out of that uniform,
you're just nobody again.
Nobody cares. Yeah. And I don't think you'll ever change that so much. But I think on the financial side of it, which was certainly never why I became a carer, I would love to see people on carers allowance getting a fair price for the hard work they do. And obviously some people are more disabled than others and need more care than others. And what always annoyed me when I first started caring, I never claimed carers allowance. I just did it because I felt that, you know, I felt like the value for what I was doing maybe was worth £10 a week if you had to put a price on it. Obviously, my granddad's condition got worse until he was walking around with 4 types of cancer, dementia, and he really was in a bad way. And I had to start claiming because I left work, and I think to myself, well, if disability allowance is staggered over 3 levels, how comes carers allowance isn't staggered over 3 levels? And how comes somebody claiming what at the time was job seekers allowance was getting paid more than someone who's a carer? I think there should be a stage where they say, yeah, fair enough, you've had to give up your life to care for someone. And, you know, £67 a week isn't cutting it, is it? You need money to live off, and you're still saving the government a ton of money because they're not having to pay for professional nurses who have done so much training and rightly deserve the money they get and a whole lot more. But you know that one person, and you can do a great job with that one person. And I don't know, I'm waffling, to be honest, but it's something that really grinds my gears.
I can hear that. I can hear that. I'm getting a few mentions that the stream is I can't get this to work. Is buffering or not buffering, or it's just why isn't that?
Oh, maybe it's running out of water.
Yeah, it might be. It could well be. I'm just lowering the bit rate a bit just so that we can get. It's probably because I'm uploading on the other machine, but let's see if that makes a slight difference to people. You never know. Thank you so much, Ed. Anyway, it's nice to talk to you, and thank
always
you for
a pleasure.
Thank you for calling in. Look after yourself. Keep your pecker up.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Fantastic. Lovely to talk. Bye-bye. There we are. That's nothing is working tonight. That's lovely, Ed. Lovely to hear him. And talking about, I was trying to sort of talk about this universal payment thing, not the universal credit. That's I don't know what it's called. I don't know what this concept is called. But anyway, something I was talking about my son with earlier today. Let's have a look at some of the comments apart from the freezing of the screen. Let's see. More people free to watch YouTube videos. Well, that's true if they're not working and they're being paid at home. How about a clap for YouTube creators for entertaining the country through COVID? I don't know about that. That coming from you, Sean. That's a little isn't that a bit, that's like a doctor saying, can everybody clap for me? I've just repaired this patient. We do it. That's what we do. It's our job. I don't think we need any special attention. If people like what we do, then they like what we do. We don't, it's an honour to do this. It's not a chore. We don't need to be rewarded other than in the normal way of asking. We're busking. We're busking on the internet. That's how I look at it anyway. On average, he says, teachers' starting salary is around 19,600 compared with the average across OECD. I don't know what that means. Countries around 18 up to 10 years, 28,000, much higher in the OECD. What does OECD stand for? Average of 23,000. Doesn't seem very much for a teacher. Peter Lowry, hi everyone. Bit late tonight. Don't worry, Peter. Never knew we were going to do a show. It was a bit of an impromptu thing because I've been away in Wiltshire and I thought I was going to get back much later than I have. But I'm here now, and I thought, well, there'll be some people who won't know, and I better do a show. Some YouTuber creators should have the clap. That's very true. Let's see who this is giving us a call on the old Vobes One-Eyed Kenobi show. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for letting me join you on your show tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Who is it?
It's Henry of Henry's Adventures.
Hello, Henry. I didn't recognise you.
Oh, sorry, my voice perhaps was a bit different.
No.
I can't say hello, thank you for joining me. It doesn't sound...
No, it just takes me. It takes me a little. Sometimes, if you're not a regular caller, the timbre of your voice. It just took a moment. I thought, I recognise that. Who is that? And then and I thought, of course it is. How are you, Henry?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I feel much better now I'm home. It's one of those things. Do you have that? You travel around a lot. Do you get that point where you go?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, actually. Yeah, because I'm aware you've been out and about, and I haven't actually seen any of it because I was out and about as well. So for the last few days, I didn't actually see any of what you did. But I tend to, I go through your archives. I'll probably watch it in about 6 years' time. And
oh, good. I'm glad somebody in 6 years' time is going to be watching the nonsense I put out.
Well, it's like the other day I watched your pet work video. I really enjoyed that, but you published that a while ago, so I sort of I had 45 minutes. I scrolled right down, thought, I haven't watched that one. I've been through Petworth, not for a long time. I thought, I'll watch that, and that was very interesting. I enjoyed it.
It was that was quite nice because there's a poignant bit in the middle of the Petworth one about the school children that were bombed.
Yeah, that was sad. Yeah, very sad.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. I knew about the house, and of course the railway station. Which is now a hotel. I was driving past one day and I saw it. I thought, old railway station, needs to have a closer look. And they're actually doing up the carriages.
Oh, right. Because
they let me come in and have a look.
And did they?
Yeah. I didn't. I just said, can I have a look? And they said, yeah, come in the carriages and see them.
They're very nice.
It's called Flora, which is the name of my sister, so that was quite nice as well.
Pullman Carriages, for those that don't know, these old-fashioned Pullman carriages.
They
where
have female names.
Yeah, where would that have been on the Brighton to London line? Where would they have?
Well, yeah, they went all over the place on the Orient Express. So I suppose their original job, they would have been, the London to down to Dover Marine section of the Orient Express. Then the passengers would have gone on the ferry, and then gone on the Continental one once they arrived in France.
Yes.
But now they tend to do and then there was the Brighton Bell, which was an electric unit, and they're actually restoring it. So at some point in the future, I'm not sure when, but there'll be this what will be like a brand new but old-fashioned train. It'll be as good as new, and you'll be able to get to travel down to Brighton on it. It probably costs an arm and a leg, but for people like me, I'll just stand on the stations and watch it.
Yes, but and so that'll be an electric one.
Yeah, it's called the Brighton Bell. So it'll be about 5 carriages, and it'll stand out from all the modern plastic trains you get going down to Brighton. So if you're at a station, and then there'll still be the steam-hauled one, which hasn't been running for the last few months for obvious reasons. It sometimes goes to Bristol and Bath. Sometimes there's a trip round the Surrey Hills. So I quite often, go to places like Dorking and see it when I'm down here.
Yes, yeah. So going back to that thing, when you have been out and about and you get home, do you get that, oh, it's so nice to be home? Or are you somebody who just think, oh, I hate being at home, I want to be away travelling?
A bit of both. It is nice to come home, but at the same time, I'm always, right, where shall I go next sort of thing? And I looked at the weather forecast, and I looked at it and I thought, God, it's going to be blooming... on the weekend, it's going to be over 30 for about 5 days. So I thought, I don't know if I really, for once in my life, actually don't really fancy going anywhere when it's too hot.
Yes.
I don't mind it if I'm abroad. I sort of think, well, if you go abroad, then don't complain about the weather. But I am one who, I'm not a huge fan of too hot weather, especially with wearing a mask. I'm not saying, it's right or wrong, but if you've got to have a mask on and it's 30 degrees,
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how people are going to cope with that. So is that the weather forecast for the weekend coming?
Yeah, that's what I saw, yeah. I mean, my plan had been for this weekend, I wanted to go to a pub in Bedfordshire that has a miniature railway. I thought, and make my video. Well, it'll happen at some point, but it won't probably be this weekend now, I've decided. Because I thought, well, yeah, I could go all the way to Bedfordshire. It's not that far, it's an hour away. But then I tend to be, if I go somewhere for, say, a miniature railway, I don't tend to just go there and come back. I'll have to have a little look around. So I'll probably, out of the many walk books I've got, I'd pick a walk not too far away, 3 or 4, 5 miles, and do that as well.
Well, that's very...
It's just not walkable weather, I think.
No, well, I hate filming. I mean, I don't hate filming because that's what I do all the time. No, I hate filming when it's too hot because you're trying to concentrate and the energy is just sapped. I mean, I do like warm weather, but I tend to go really early now, and then by about 11 o'clock, it's if you're lugging a tripod and a camera and a bag and all of that, and you're trying to make it look like you're just swanning across the countryside with nothing, which is what I tend to do, but I'm actually behind the scenes. I'm lugging lots of stuff. It gets you a bit knocked out. The Salty Train Spotter and Bell Ringer says the best place to get a Pullman carriage is the Bluebell Steam Railway from East Grinstead and London Victoria on Platform 1, apparently.
So, yeah, the two, yeah. So the latter is the one I was talking about, the steam hauled one. And, yeah, you can... If you they have them at Bluebell as well. Quite a lot of the heritage railways have them. The Kent and East Sussex, that's another one. I wouldn't say it's quite your way, but it's sort of south of London and over a bit.
And I do need to go to Tenterden. It's a nice little station there.
Yeah, I'd like to have a look around. I've been to the station, done the railway. I've not actually seen the town, because then I did the Romney Hive and Dymchurch as well that day, which, in hindsight, perhaps trying to do the two in one day was a bit much. If I was to do it again, I'll probably do just Kent and East Sussex, and I'd have time to, engineer a visit to Bodiam Castle, have a wander around Tenterden. But it is a nice little line. I don't like to knock heritage railways. It's not as scenic as some of the others. But nonetheless, it's a pleasant ride through rural England.
I suppose, I mean, I don't go to very many, to be fair. I mean, I like them, but I'm not mad passionate.
No, I know, yeah.
So when I go to one, it's just the whole novelty that's it. Oh, look at this. It's nice. It's an old thing. Whereas, of course, if you go to lots, you can compare them and can go, oh, yeah, that's not as good as so-and-so. So I get a lot of enjoyment. Ron Langley out there says, we stayed at the old railway station in Petworth. I stayed there on my 50th birthday the following day, and my son came and he stayed. The whole family came, actually. We had made a big thing of it. And the following day, my son Billy had his brain hemorrhage and nearly died. So I remember the Petworth railway station and the overnight stay that we had for reasons which are not really connected to it, but it was the following morning that he had a brain hemorrhage. Which that was just my chair making that noise. It wasn't me having a trump. So where have you been recently, and have you got a video out that we should be looking for, Henry?
There will be one coming soon. Yeah, this was a bit of an unusual, different for me. Try and get a different sort of railway experience. Up in running from Skipton up to Appleby, they're running this train which has been nicknamed the Staycation Express. So it's a diesel-hauled train. It's using carriages which up until early this year ran between London and Norwich, and then they got new trains and replaced them, and these three or four that haven't gone for scrap, or a few have gone to other heritage lines.
Are these slam doors?
Yeah, they are still slam doors, but, they're built in the 70s. They're what's called a Mark III carriage. I think they're really nice because the seats line up nicely with the windows. But they're running this Staycation Express from Skipton to Appleby. So I'm going to put together a video. It starts with me having a cup of tea at the campsite in Skipton, then I run along the canal, or walk actually. I should have skipped the canal to Skipton.
Should skip to Skipton, yes.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there will be a video on that coming in the week. But I've got all this footage. I actually have to stop making videos on this trip because I've filled up all my memory cards. So I said to myself, right, you're not making any more videos till you process them. But that was a hot day, not as hot as it's going to get. And Appleby, as nice a town as it is, 8 hours is perhaps a little bit too long to spend in that town. But I kept myself amused. It helped that the train came again in the middle of the day.
Is that Yorkshire, Appleby?
It used to be Westmoreland, now it's Cumbria.
Oh,
because Cumbria's one of those modern, since the 60s, it used to be
Cumberland
and Westmoreland.
Right.
It's Robert Croce will probably tell you more about Appleby, because he saw I'd been there, and he didn't tell me, and I said to him, well, I'm in Carlisle next Saturday, that's doing a day trip from London. So I've told him if he wants to meet me, I'll be there. So Robert, if you are listening, I am going to be in Carlisle on Saturday for about an hour and a half. So, yeah, anyway, so...
floating our boat, Fran and Rich said that we're hoping to go on the Clangolan steam train next week. Have you been on that one?
Yeah, that's a very pleasant railway. And so is the canal, which no doubt they'll, arrive 100 yards or so. It's quite close to the station, the canal, maybe a bit more than 100 yards. But, yeah, and they'll go over the Pontysuckly Aqueduct, I expect, to get there.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to their video when they go across the aqueduct. Yeah. I've walked across it very nervously.
When I was at university, it's a funny thing. A friend of mine and I went out for a drive one evening, and it got further and further and further to the point where we crossed the border to Wales, and we thought, and it was dark, it was a winter's evening. Yeah, and we thought, well, we're in Wales now, we need to do something, even though it's like 8 o'clock on a winter's evening. So I said, let's go to the Pontysuckly Aqueduct, and we'll walk across it. And this friend of mine, he was quite a funny character, and he said to me, I've got some fireworks. So we were lighting fireworks on the Pontysuckly Aqueduct, but we were lighting them downwards, and they were exploding backwards in the dark.
Yeah, because it's about 200 foot, isn't it? It's about 200 feet off the Telford's bridge. It's beautiful.
But you don't realise how narrow it is. It's only a couple of feet wide, the actual towpath.
Yeah, nothing on the other side.
Only up to about my waist, yeah.
And on the canal side, if you had to get across the far side of your boat on the roof, as it were, or on the side, whatever you call the sort of gunnel thing round
Yeah,
there.
you'd be quite scary, actually.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, at night time, you wouldn't see the bottom, would you? You wouldn't see down
No.
there to the rip. What is the river? Is it the River Dee? It's the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wouldn't see it, but yeah, I don't know.
I did do. I made. By all means, obviously look at their video. I'll have a look as well. I do watch some of their videos, but there is somewhere, I'm not sure where. There is a Henry's Adventures video, not from that trip, I'll add. In daylight, I did walk over it, and I've got to remember, it was one of the hardest videos I've ever done. I was holding my camera so tightly.
Yeah, isn't that funny when you're up somewhere and you holding something? You just have that irrational fear. I'm going to drop this. It's going to slip down there.
If you dropped it walking down the street, it'd probably break. Just I suppose though, even if you drop it in the street, it might break, and you can pick it up. If you drop it down there, you're gonna have to search the whole.
Well, you'd never find it, would you? You'd never find, because it'll be a million pieces and washed away. But it's just that thing about you're so convinced that you're going to drop it, that you're holding it so tight that actually it might ping out your hand.
Yeah, but thankfully it didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to that video with Fran and Rich, and presumably tomorrow they'll be releasing one because they release videos every Thursday, so that's always good to look for. Lovely Julia says, I don't suppose you managed to water our baby trees today. No, I got in at 5:30, and I have been on the go since then, but I am planning of going tomorrow, lovely Julia, to water the plants. So I've noticed I didn't even water my own garden. It's just been full on. What else we've got? Appleby. Yes, we're going to meet, says Robert Croser.
Oh, great. Send a message. Robert, send me a message, or perhaps he has, during the course of the call and I can't see it, but yeah.
Floating Our Boat says, come with us, Richard. Well, as they go over the Pont Casolti, that would be hilarious. I'd love to do that. Yeah, I wonder if I can get up there. I could go and stay at my friend Harriet's, and then because she's in Shrewsbury, and it's about an hour and 20 from there. So I could do it. I could be teased into it, which will be good. So there we go. Anyway, Henry, better let somebody else have a chance to call in. But
no worries. Yeah, thank you for letting me join you.
There we go.
That has to be my catchphrase when I call the Vobes show, I think.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting me join you.
Yeah, well,
thank you very much for letting me join you.
It's quite all right. And don't forget, you can check out Henry's Adventures on YouTube. Just put Henry's Adventures onto YouTube and you'll find it. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Take care.
Bye.
There we are.
Bye.
Bye. Marvellous. That's very nice to catch up with Henry. I hadn't spoken to Henry for some time, and he's on the Board Explorer Facebook group. He's very regular poster. Here we go. We got another call straight away. Let's find out who that is. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello. I say, ding dong.
I was just trying to catch you before you took the headphones off.
Well done.
Sean James Cameron.
Is it really?
I just want to thank Andrew Norris for sending me some wildflower seeds.
Oh, yes. I've got a bag of wildflower seeds, and I was going to do exactly the same. They're on my desk, and they came in here to prepare for the show and found it was already on. And that was...
I did see that bit.
Did you? Yeah, it was so embarrassing to be live. And also, I was actually going to open... I've got this bottle of the Wild Beer Company Millionaire. I was going to drink this on the show, but I was not prepared. So, again...
Well, it's a good job you didn't change your shirt,
Why?
Well, we would have seen it all.
Yes. No, I know. I don't strip off in
before the watershed.
Yes, I don't strip off in the studio. I do
talking
that.
About wildflowers.
Yes.
I recently saw something, and I thought Richard would be pleased with that.
Okay. Tell us more.
I went into a churchyard, and they had... cordoned off an area amongst the graves purely for the wildflowers.
Oh.
And apparently it's a thing that a lot of churches are getting into this year. They're turning a patch over because the guy said to me, if they put wildflowers down, then they don't have to pay somebody to cut the grass.
Aha, right. Yeah, well, that cynical approach is probably a wise thing.
And then I went to this other place
in
Bexley, and it was an old quarry that the owner had filled with landfill, but he had filled it to about 40 foot into the air. So about 10 years ago, the council decided to put earth on top of it. So they can't build now because of all the stuff that's there.
Hang on, I'm just trying to get this worked out. He's filled up landfill instead of filling. Well, he's put it on top of the land, 40 foot high, to make a big mound or something.
Yes. So the council covered the landfill with about 10 foot of soil.
Yeah.
And they've put a conservation area on top of it. So you climb up the side, and when you get up on top, I've never experienced it before, where you walk through the size of 3 playing fields, but you could hear the noise from all the wildlife.
You could hear. Oh, right. Well, that's brilliant.
And
I thought for a minute you were going to say as you walk through, you're kicking cans and old dustbins and all sorts of
maybe
stuff.
I should have said the story backwards. But I just sort of thought that's amazing for the council to have done something 10 years ago, thinking about the future.
Yes.
Because one of the locals said they can't do anything with the land. They can't build on it. So they've just thrown all these wild flower seeds. And I got my camera out and I was amazed that the noise was so loud, it picked it up without any microphones, extras on top.
So it's the stuff that they put into landfill presumably has to be stuff that will over time decompose.
Yes, apparently every 5 years they have to monitor the level.
So is it effectively a compost heap? I'm not suggesting that you would use it. Pardon?
Not if it's mostly plastic.
Oh, I didn't think they bury plastic, do they? I thought they had to. I thought it was stuff that would decompose. I suppose everything decomposes in millions of years, but
let me explain it a bit better. He had bought the land,
yes,
to quarry the stones that were in it.
Right.
And when they exhausted that, he didn't know what to do with it. So he illegally started dumping, going around the houses, collecting all the rubbish and charging people £100 and then taking it back to his quarry and just dumping it.
Right. Oh, okay.
Illegally,
right.
Yeah.
And then he put mud over the top.
And then the council managed to evict him. And then they said, right, what do we do with this area? Let's just put soil on top of it.
Right.
And they're doing a similar thing at the bottom of the Thames as well, because there's a big landfill slide. So all the rubbish from central London goes down the Thames, and they just dump it on the side of this island, and they landscape it.
Right. Sorry, when you said the bottom of the Thames, I thought you meant under the water.
No, sort of the opening, the mouth of the Thames.
The estuary.
Yes, down in Erith.
Right. Okay. And so they're dumping it onto the banks of the estuary and then covering it and as you say, landscaping it.
Yes.
Will the water not just basically take away whatever the landscaping? I mean, if there's a flood, will that just not expose all the junk and everything?
No, because they've put it above the water line of where it comes up to.
Yeah.
But apparently there's this plan that over 20 years they are going to put a conservation park there and fill it all with wildflowers and to get all the wild animals back there.
Yes. And this is all very laudable, but my point really about this whole thing is that the landscape up until 1947 was had wildflowers and stuff all over the place, and now we've just got these funny little pockets of it, and there are no real corridors that are joining up the landscape so that the badgers and animals and the whatever the things are with legs and spikes, hedgehogs, can they're all sort of confined into these little hot spots, which is presumably quite great for the birds, the hawks and the birds of prey, because they just go, oh yeah, in this little wildlife area, that's Little Haven, we've got them. Whereas
that's something I hadn't thought about. I was deep in the woods last week.
Yeah.
And somebody highlighted that to me. He said, "There's no point councils put in a forest here and another forest 10 miles away, because they can't catch the bus to go to the next forest.
No,
Who
that's
are the
right.
Animals.
No.
And I don't think I'd really taken that on board. And he said, down the corridors of like the M4, the M6, rather than just having grass, they should do a corridor.
Yes.
Just put some wildflower seeds down.
Absolutely. And when they construct those things, they could have put little tunnels underneath so that they can actually cross the road. And not everything's going to do that, but certain animals are more intelligent than we get them, we believe them for. And once they've worked it out, you know, they are habitual. They go, oh yeah, we go down here, and there's the bloke with the big net. Oops. But you know what I mean? They can get across. And I think all these are great opportunities. And I mean, some of them they do put they do put the young trees. But I did listen to or read. No, it was Oliver Rackham, who's now no longer with us, but he wrote some amazing books about ecology and about trees. And one of his things was, he says, yeah, you know, they bung in a motorway and everybody thinks they're doing a grand job when you see all these trees that are planted, all these wild flowers. But of course, this is some conglomerate. This is a big corporation doing this, or a big council, and they're buying these seeds at the cheapest price they can get because they've got miles and miles of them. And half the time, these aren't natural seeds, or native seeds, rather, from this country. They're buying them from all sorts of places. And so when they plant these things, actually what they're doing is putting in plants which will kill off the native species because these other ones may be invasive or whatever. They shouldn't be here. And, of course, it upsets the whole apple cart. Not that you should be driving your apple cart on the verges anyway, but you know what I mean. It's the species that would normally be there. So
well, I interviewed some people back in the 80s who were about 101, and this guy said to me that he could remember before the coal mines were sunk, and he said back in the day, a squirrel could climb up a tree in Herbert and could travel to Cardiff about 40 miles without touching the ground. And he said when the coal mines came, they just pulled all the trees down for the pit props, and they just noticed that animals weren't really spreading around.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we humans are very destructive.
So
anyway,
it's just very interesting how you put a video up, and it just sends people off into a completely different.
Well, that's good.
Stratosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. If they, if it's thought provoking. I mean, I never know whether my stuff is thought provoking. It's a desperation to get a video up, mostly. But I'll go along with what you said. It sounded so much better. I'm going to go and read the comments before we go. Thank you so much, Sean. Talk to you soon. Bye bye. And of course, don't forget you can check out Sean's. I don't need the headphones on. Allotment. If you've got a YouTube channel, it's always good to plug it for everybody. The Allotment channel. It's called, as he's got his name up there. I've lost the stream, says the lovely Julia. Robert Croser says something. Nigel says that he just watched the beginning of the show. Your reaction when you first noticed it was live was hilarious. You checked your phone to see if you were on or not. Wonderful. I couldn't believe that it was on because I hadn't pressed my button. In fact, I don't get the button. That's really weird. Don't get the button that I used to get. The Salty Train Spotter and Bell, maybe turn off and on the internet is advice to lovely Julia. She's having buffering issues, but she is on a place where the internet's a bit shaky, I know, which is a sad situation. Paul Smith says mine went out of sync. We got another phone call. It's a busy old night tonight on the phones, which is lovely. Thank you so much for calling. Hello, who's that?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, Gabriel?
I'm very well, thank you. I just wanted to apologise for the fact you've got to sit looking at my face for so long.
It's not your fault at all. It's not your fault at all. It's we put this thing together. I've got another one to do tomorrow, which is our joyous trip round Cairn. Or Calm, or Corn, or Dubai, whatever it's called.
Yeah, one of them.
Beirut, that's it. We were there with Beirut, with all these bags of nitrogen that you asked me to carry.
They're the ones.
And a box of matches. I'm not quite sure what that was about. So, the apology accepted, but 3 times, and hopefully it's now uploaded. But it's just irritating when you've used a piece of copyright-free music, you've got the license for it, and then YouTube say, "Oh no, that's a cover version, mate."
Oh, it's a pain, isn't it?
And the thing is, I mean, I can argue my case, but it'll be a week before they come back and go, "Oh yeah, you're right." Meanwhile, most of my views would have done on that, and I would have earned nothing. Not that I earn much on it anyway, but it's, you know, it's because it's a drone. It's a video about the drone. It might get some extra hits because people probably want to see a drone crash.
Well, I think they would. I mean, it was quite impressive. And it was the picking up of the pieces, I thought, which was quite poetic afterwards.
Yeah, well, those wind blowers are very good for just blowing them into the corner of the garden, aren't they?
Like a bedraggled heap.
Those leaf blower, that's the thing, isn't it?
Leaf blower.
Leaf blower.
Or drone part blower.
But we did manage to get most of them. And earlier today, I mean, Julia said, did I get down to water her trees and stuff? And I promised I would, and I will tomorrow. But I was so busy with the Airfix glue trying to just put all the bits together.
Yes, poor trees are suffering.
Yeah, but the drone will fly again.
Yes, and with you controlling it, no doubt, and we'll get some lovely pictures.
Is that the door? Oh no, that's just people. I think that's the burglar. He comes on a Wednesday.
Expecting the burglar?
Yeah,
He comes on a Wednesday.
Wednesday, regular as clock, right? In fact, I just put all the valuables out for him. It makes life so much easier.
Yeah, ours comes on a Tuesday. I've just lost you from my screen completely. I don't know what's happening there.
Oh, I'm hiding under the table.
Okay. Well, you look like a little white wheel going round on the background.
Oh, I often look like a little white wheel going round. That's just my head, you know. I did have a shave this morning. Yeah.
Well, I've just been out tonight on
the piss.
With Boris Johnson's money and, paying half of my meal, which is really quite nice. Which is what he did for us the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah, did we actually get half the money on that? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Did they do it?
Yeah, we did. It was half price, yeah. We're shilling over 40 quid for that.
Oh, should it? Oh, right. Oh, well, that's all right then. I mean, I just paid it willy-nilly, but I didn't really take on board. It's like the places where you go to where you have the car park and they say, "Oh, don't forget to tell us that you've had them. We'll knock £3 off for the car park." And by the time you get to the end of the meal, you've forgotten all about the car park until you've got in the car and you've paid for it and you go, it's a bit late now.
One thing you can say about Kern, whatever it's called, their car parks are very friendly. You get 2 hours free.
2 hours free, or if you're lucky, you get 4 hours free.
Yeah.
Not that if the car park attendant is watching,
we were just surmising.
Yeah, we're just surmising that it would have been possible to have done that. Not that we physically did do that, and also you haven't got our registration. Well, it's not my registration I need to worry about. It's your lovely car.
My car.
You got back all right, did you, from our trip?
Yes, fine, thank you. Yes, it was a very uneventful trip back.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a nice journey. Through the hills there. It's quite nice scenery, some of it.
Well, I had a pig of a journey coming out of bloody Cairn, whatever it's called, because they shut the road off to Marlborough, and they had all these.
They did, yes.
Yeah, they had all these signs saying no access to Marlborough, but you have to go through Avebury before Marlborough.
Mm-hmm.
So when you read the signs, you think, "Oh, okay, no access to Marlborough, fair enough." But I might only be going as far as Avebury. But it didn't say no access. The road closed in 500 yards or a mile or anything like that. It was just like A4 closed, no access to Marlborough. You think, well, I'm not going as far as that. But in actual fact, 1 mile down the road, bang, there you are. Sorry, mate, where are you going? I'm trying to go to Worthing, actually. He said, "Oh, well, you can't go to Marlborough." No, I don't want to go to Marlborough. I want to go to Worthing. Oh, you'll have to take the diversion to go via Devizes. I had to go.
All the way down there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All the way. The road system in Wiltshire, what they need to do is plough up some of that monoculture and stick some roads in. At least you see different types of vehicles going along.
Yes. There is quite a bit of prairie farming and monoculture going on over there, isn't
Oh
there?
my God, I didn't realise quite how much until I drove back. When I got back the Devizes Road towards Stonehenge, and then you get onto the 303. And on that route, I suddenly saw, and of course it's very obvious at the moment because it's all this golden colour, it's all the same. And actually, I was looking at it very carefully as I drove. I kept one eye on the road and I had to take the one eye off the road occasionally to look because I've only got the one. And the hedges, that clearly some of these farms are on a steward scheme, and so that means they get money to look after the to put hedgerows and things in. Well, they'd had one row, a good hedge is about 5 foot wide, maybe a couple of meters or something like that, or more. So you've got a lovely corridor. And they just had these huge fields, and they were delineated with this one tree width row of hawthorns. And they must have done it last year. Titchy little things. I thought, that's hardly a hedgerow. So mean. And they were harvesting or growing right up to that hedgerow. There was no margins or anything.
No margins. Nothing,
and I thought, these bloody Wiltshire farmers, they've upset me now.
Yeah. Well, when you've actually come down to Glastonbury, you and Julia, we'll go for some walks, and the fields around here are little fields. We don't have any prairies. It's low. In fact, on
mixed
the Pullman
farming?
Way, I looked. There's all sorts. There's lots of cattle grazing. There's lots of sheep grazing.
Good.
And some sort of arable farming, but it's the small fields. In fact, I think on the Pullman Way, I looked down and I said, "Look, here's for Richard. There's no prairie farming here. It's just like a little patchwork of different coloured fields."
Yeah.
As you look down,
it's all gone to hell in a handcart. But anyway, so it's just gone 9 o'clock. So I'm going to end the show now.
Well, I'm going to clear off, Tim.
It's lovely to talk to you. Be back again on Friday. I'm not going to do a show tomorrow because it gives you a bit more time to knock up a video.
It does, which I was doing for tomorrow, but I can relax now.
Yeah, take it easy. Take it easy.
Put your feet up. Take it easy.
That's it. Lovely to talk to you, Gabriel.
And you, buddy. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we are. That was lovely Glastonbury Gabriel bringing the Vobes show for tonight to a swift end, which is very nice. I hope you've enjoyed the show this evening. Ed Loud says, yes, I've been to Bexley, not far from where he is. Nigel Sadler, I've read all that. Nigel, what do I say? Forgot to tell you that Carmarthenshire, 5 acres, 35,000. Wow. It's in Wales, though. It's a bit of a long trip, isn't it? Carmarthenshire, 5 acres, 35 quid. Perfect. Judith is going. Good night. There's always Roundway, Richard. The Down. Sean says, Sean Laverick, I think it's pronounced. There is always Roundway. Where on the Down? Where is Roundway? Love to know where that is. Send me an email or a message or something. Or by semaphore is often quite handy. Not that I see it, but it's always handy. Kevin emailed me this morning. He said he was busy having the day off. That's Jeff. Kevin had a new video out yesterday, and he responded to my comment. I hope Kevin's all right. I haven't spoken to him for a while. He seemed to be. He was just working a hell of a lot at the moment. Einstein a go-go says Days of Yore. I think that's about it. Probably missed loads of your comments, but there we are. Have you decided what the new book will be, says Sean James Cameron. The reading, yes, we will commence the reading. I think we might as well commence the reading on Monday because it's halfway through the week now. The reading will be this book here. We're going to read The Wisdom of the Fields by H.J. Massingham. This was published in 1940 something or other. So that'll be my reading when I do the readings again. But anyway, that's it. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Very kind of you. And we will talk to you soon. Sorry about the impromptu thing. In fact, I don't know how to turn the show off because that's just suddenly realised there's normally a button to turn it on. It's the same button you press to end the show. But I don't have the button. I've got to stay here forever now, ladies and gentlemen, live. Because I can't switch this off. That is very freaky. That is very freaky. What if I do that? No, that just restores the chat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'm now going to I'm going to give you a goodbye screen whilst I work out how to stop streaming. Till next time, thank you and bye-bye.